welcome to today's episode of The Human Angle. 2020 is gradually coming to an end. What an eventful year it has been for all of us, with so many lessons learned from our health to our safety, to our environment, and even with our financial decisions. And in less than 2 weeks to go, we would all be saying, Happy New Year! Now, with a new year comes new resolutions. You're probably looking forward to all of the things that a new year brings, including a fresh start. And just like most people, managing your personal finances is probably at the top of your list of resolutions. Now, when I mean resolutions, I mean being realistic with formulating achievable but ambitious financial goals and then enhance them to SMART goals. Now, therefore, on this premise, we will be discussing how to be money smart in 2021. So let's try to understand what it means to be smart with our financial decisions. Now, the SMART method, which stands for the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, is designed to help you approach your personal finances in a logical, orderly, and intelligent way. Now, you can transform your personal finances by kicking old habits that are less than healthy and establishing new ones that will help you set you up for success. Now, let's go over the acronym one after the other. Now, the first is specific. State exactly what your goal is. Are you looking at investing or getting an education or paying off your debts or even increasing your savings? These are all examples of specific goals, and by being specific, you're sure of exactly what you want to achieve. Now, interestingly, someone recently shared one of our financial goals with me. She said that our goal is to increase our savings, now giving herself a 1-year timeline. Now, 1 year, according to her, is not the regular January to December, but from our previous birthday to the next. Now, that's an example of a specific goal. Now, all aspects of your personal financial plan should be as specific as possible. And the first element is to define some goals. Now, begin with targeting a specific area of concern. What exactly is it that you want to accomplish? Now, the second is measurable. Now, figure out exactly or the exact amount you need to achieve the goal. For example, your goal is to get an education. You need to be exactly sure of what the cost will be. And in order to ensure that your specific goal of getting an education is met, it must be measurable. Now, the key to measurability is being able to quantify it. And in other words, placing an exact monetary amount here gives you a measurable stick and a target to shoot for. Now, the third is achievable. Now, determine how it can be achieved or it can be reached based on your budget. An achievable goal is one that you can actually attain. And in a scenario where you are getting an education, for example, you need to think about how to get the tuition fee paid. Are you being sponsored? Is your education going to be sponsored by your parents or a colleague or some other person or your job or probably a foundation? Or you have to work to make your money for the tuition fee. Now, be sure to set objectives that may feel challenging. These objectives might probably feel challenging, but it has to be doable. Now, the fourth is realistic. Only set a goal that is attainable and realistic. Although realism and achievability may seem to be the same thing, they're actually quite different when it comes to the particulars of financial planning. Now, while making sure your goal is attainable, you need to make sure it is also realistic for not just yourself alone, but for your financial situation. Now, the third is timely, or the last is timely, to say. Now, specifically states when the goal needs to be reached. Now, it is also essential to commit to reaching your objectives within a reasonable time frame and take approaches that will allow you to stick to a schedule. Now, this part of the SMART framework is intended to prevent goals from being overtaken by the day-to-day tasks and responsibilities we all have. Now give yourself on your goals a target date to achieve them, just as the fellow that I shared or that spoke about a 1-year savings plan with me. Now, some other things you might want to consider while you make a SMART plan is to review the past year's experience. Now, as painstaking as this could be, this can help you see where the bulk of your spending goes, and it really deserves a bigger slice of your total budget or not. And this can also help you avoid making same mistakes again. Now, you can also plan or map out your major purchases for the year. Now, do you foresee yourself getting a big ticket purchase or appliances you may need to buy, whatever it may be? Map it out so you can prepare ahead instead of falling short when the time comes. And lastly, you need to practice being content with less. Probably one of the simplest, but not always the easiest things to do. Now, the way out is to make it a habit to be happier when having to spend all the time. Now, practicing gratitude and contentment will make you spend less and just live in the moment with whatever you have. Now, lastly, I'll leave you with the words of Suze Orman that says, "No one has ever achieved a financial fitness with a January resolution that's abandoned by February." And that will be all for today's edition of The Human Angle. You might want to share with us 1 or 2 things that you've learned, or if you've got questions or comments, kindly send a mail to programs@proshareng.com or business@proshareng.com, where we'll be glad to hear from you. Also visit our website on www.proshareng.com to get more information on your personal finances and updates from our news stories and videos. And you can choose to follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. Until next week, thank you for watching, and bye for now.